Lisa walked down the busy street toward the bank. It was a bright, sunny day, and the city was alive with people going about their daily routines. Lisa was dressed neatly in a blue blouse and black pants. She carried a small purse on her shoulder and held her phone in one hand. She felt calm and confident. Today, she had an important meeting at the bank. But what made this day different was not the meeting itself, but what was about to happen inside. Lisa had always been careful when she went to the bank. She knew the building well. It was the same bank her brother Michael owned.
Ow.
Michael was not just any owner. He was the proud leader of this local branch. Lisa and Michael grew up together, and even though they had different lives now, they stayed close. Lisa worked in a small business nearby, and sometimes she helped Michael with ideas for the bank. But today, Lisa was going to handle some personal banking, and she wanted everything to go smoothly. As she stepped into the bank, she noticed the quiet hum of activity inside. The room was bright, with large windows letting in the sunlight. The clean floors and polished counters made it look welcoming. There were a few customers already waiting in line. The tellers were busy but friendly. Lisa smiled politely at a young woman standing near the entrance, who smiled back. Everything seemed normal. Then Lisa noticed a man near the entrance, the bank's security guard. He was tall, wearing a dark uniform with a badge on his chest. His eyes moved quickly, watching people as they came inside. Lisa thought nothing of it at first. Security guards were there to keep everyone safe. But then the guard's eyes focused on her. He narrowed his gaze and stepped closer. Lisa felt a sudden chill in the air, even though the room was warm. Guard looked directly at her and said in a firm voice, "Ma'am, you need to leave. You look suspicious." Lisa was stunned. She blinked in surprise and looked at him carefully. "Excuse me? Suspicious?" "I'm here for my appointment," she said calmly. The guard did not smile or soften his voice. "I'm sorry, but you can't. Stay here. Please, leave now." Lisa's heart started to race. She felt confused and hurt. She knew she was calm and dressed well. She had done nothing wrong. Why was this man treating her this way? Their customers were starting to look over. Some whispered quietly, watching what was happening. Lisa took a deep breath and said again, "I have an appointment. I need to speak to the teller. Can you please call someone to check?" The guard shook his head and said, "No, you have to go." Lisa's eyes began to fill with tears, but she quickly blinked them away. She did not want to lose control. She stood tall and tried to keep her voice steady. "Please, I'm just here to do some banking." Still, the guard remained firm. He took a step toward her and said, "I'm just doing my job. You need to leave." At that moment, a woman who worked at the bank stepped forward. She looked concerned and said, "Sir, maybe we should check who she is before making her leave." The guard hesitated for a moment but did not move away. Lisa hoped this woman could help. She smiled weakly and said, "Thank you." Lisa turned to the other customers. Some looked uncomfortable, others looked confused. One older man shook his head slowly. A young mother quietly gathered her child's hand and moved away from the scene. The whole room seemed to hold its breath. Lisa wanted to explain more, but she was also afraid. She knew sometimes people judged others unfairly. I had faced this kind of treatment before, but never in her own brother's bank. This made the situation even harder to accept. After a few tense minutes, the guard spoke again. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Lisa nodded slowly. She wanted to stand up for herself, but she also knew this was not the time to cause a bigger problem. She turned and walked toward the door. Her steps felt heavy. Her footfall seemed louder than before. As she reached the door, she looked back. One last time, the bank felt cold and distant, even though she had walked in expecting to be welcomed. She held back tears and stepped outside into the sunlight. The warm air felt different now. It was a mixture of relief and sadness. Lisa took a deep breath and looked up at the sky. She wanted to believe this was just a mistake, a bad moment that would be fixed soon. But inside, she felt a quiet anger at being judged unfairly because of her skin color, at being treated like an outsider in a place that should feel like home. She pulled out her phone and called her brother Michael. "Michael," she said softly, "something happened at the bank. The security guard made me leave. He said I looked suspicious." Michael's voice on the phone was calm but serious. "I'm on my way," he said. "Don't worry, I'll handle this." Lisa hung up and sat down on a nearby bench. People walked past her, some giving small nods or looks of sympathy. She did not want to cause trouble, but she knew this was bigger than just one guard or one day. This was about respect, fairness, and how people saw each other. She remembered all the times she had told her brother about the importance of kindness and equality. Now she was living the opposite, unfair treatment and hurt. Lisa looked around the busy street. Cars passed by and the city moved on. But for her, time slowed down. She thought about her family, her community, and the future. As she waited for Michael, Lisa felt a small spark of hope. She trusted her brother and she knew he cared deeply about the bank and the people in it. This moment, painful as it was, could become a chance for change. The story of Lisa and the bank guard was just beginning, would grow beyond this day, touching many lives and opening important conversations about how we treat each other, especially when unfair judgments try to hold us back. Michael had just received the call from his sister Lisa when he hurried to the bank. He knew the branch well, but hearing what had happened made his heart sink. Michael had always tried to build a bank where everyone felt welcome and safe. Now, his own sister had been treated unfairly inside that very bank. He wanted to understand exactly what had happened. When Michael arrived, the atmosphere inside the bank had changed. Some customers were still there, watching quietly, sensing the tension. The security guard stood near the entrance, looking uneasy. Bank employees whispered among themselves, some with worried expressions. It was clear that Lisa's situation had unsettled everyone. Michael walked up to the security guard and asked calmly, "What happened here?" The guard looked down for a moment, then said, "Sir, there was a woman who came in. I thought she looked suspicious, so I asked her to leave." Michael raised his eyebrows, surprised. "Did you ask who she was?" The guard shook his head. "No, sir. I acted based on how she looked." Michael's face tightened. "And who is this woman?" Before the guard could answer, one of the bank managers stepped forward. She said, "Quietly, sir, that woman is Lisa. She is your sister." The guard's eyes widened in shock. I didn't know." Michael looked at Lisa, who stood nearby, still calm but clearly hurt. "Lisa, I'm so sorry this happened to you," he said softly. Lisa nodded, grateful for her brother's support, but still feeling the sting of the moment. She told Michael, "I was just trying to do my banking, and he made me leave without asking a single question. It felt like he judged me just because I'm black." Michael's heart ached hearing this. He knew racial bias was a real problem, but seeing it so clearly in his own bank was painful. He thought about the trust people placed in his bank and how this incident could break that trust. Michael decided he needed to take immediate action. He called a quick meeting with the bank's staff and security team. "We cannot allow this to happen again," he said firmly. "We must treat every customer with respect and fairness. Judging someone without knowing their story is unacceptable." The security guard listened quietly. He looked ashamed, but did not say much. Knew this was a teaching moment, not just for one man, but for the whole bank. Meanwhile, word about the incident started to spread. Lisa's friends and neighbors heard what happened. Many were shocked and upset. They could not believe that Lisa, a respected member of the community and the branch owner's sister, was treated so unfairly. Some local news reporters learned about the story and wanted to interview Lisa and Michael. Lisa agreed, hoping that sharing her experience could help others understand the problem of racial profiling. She wanted to show the world that these unfair judgments hurt real people and damage communities. In interviews, Lisa spoke with quiet strength. She said, "I am hurt because I know this should not have happened. I hope my story can help change minds and hearts." Michael stood by her side, supporting her. He added, "We are committed to making our bank a place where everyone is welcome. This incident showed us we have work to do, and we will do it." Inside the bank, changes began. Michael worked with managers to create new training programs. These programs taught staff how to recognize their own biases and treat customers with kindness and respect. The security team learned how to approach situations carefully, asking questions before making judgments. Lisa took part in the training. Sessions 2. She wanted to help others understand what it feels like to be judged unfairly. She shared her experience and encouraged staff to listen and learn. The bank also updated its policies. Now, security guards were instructed to verify information before asking anyone to leave. They had to ask polite questions and give customers the benefit of the doubt. If there was any doubt, guards were told to call a manager immediately. The community noticed the changes. Many people praised Michael and the bank for listening and responding quickly. Local leaders spoke out about the importance of fairness and respect in businesses. They saw the bank as an example of how to handle difficult situations honestly and openly. Lisa felt hopeful as she watched these changes happen. The pain of being treated unfairly was still there, but she believed the future could be better. She knew that sometimes difficult moments could lead to important lessons. One afternoon, Michael and Lisa sat together in the bank's small office. They talked quietly about the incident and what they had learned. Michael said, "This was a wake-up call for all of us. It reminded me that we must always work harder to build trust and understanding." Lisa smiled softly, and it showed me that even in pain we can find strength. "I want to keep helping people, making sure they are treated fairly." They agreed to keep working together to make the bank a place where everyone felt safe and respected. The experience, while painful, brought them closer. It also reminded them of their responsibility, not only as family, but as leaders in their community. As the weeks passed, Lisa's story continued to inspire others. People talked about fairness and respect more openly. The bank became a place where difficult conversations could happen, where change was possible. The story of Lisa being wrongly ejected from her brother's bank was no longer just about one moment. It became a story about hope, learning, and the power of standing up for what is right. After the incident with Lisa, Michael knew he had to do more than just apologize. He understood that real change required action. He wanted to make sure no one else in his bank would ever be treated unfairly because of their skin color or how they looked. So, he called a meeting with his entire bank staff, including the security team, in the meeting room. Everyone sat quietly as Michael began to speak. His voice was calm, but serious. "What happened to Lisa is unacceptable," he said. "We need to build a bank where every person feels safe, welcome, and respected. That means we must learn to recognize and overcome any bias we may have." Many employees looked down or nodded quietly. Some felt ashamed because they knew this problem was bigger than just one guard or one incident. Michael explained that bias is something all people have, even if they don't realize it. It is an automatic way our minds judge others based on things like appearance, race, or background. Sometimes these judgments happen so fast that we don't notice them, but they can cause real harm. Michael said, "We will start new training sessions. These will help us understand our own biases and teach us how to treat every customer with kindness and fairness." He made it clear that this training was not a punishment, but an opportunity to grow. The security guard who had asked Lisa to leave was also there. He listened carefully and spoke honestly about how he had acted out of fear and misunderstanding. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," he said. "I just wanted to keep the bank safe. But now I see that I was wrong to judge without knowing." Michael nodded. "Thank you for your honesty. This is a chance to learn and improve. We all make mistakes, but what matters is how we respond to them." The training began the following week. It was led by experts who taught the bank staff about diversity, inclusion, and empathy. Employees learned about different cultures and how unfair stereotypes can damage people's lives. They practiced listening carefully and asking questions before making decisions. The training included role-playing exercises where staff members acted out situations to better understand how customers might feel. Lisa also took part in the sessions. She shared her experience with the group. She spoke calmly, but with feeling. "Being asked to leave because of how I look was painful," she said. "It made me feel invisible and unimportant. but I hope my story helps you see how important it is to treat everyone with respect. Many employees thanked Lisa for her courage. Her words made the lessons more real and personal. The training continued over several weeks, with staff meeting regularly to discuss what they had learned and how to apply it in their work. Michael also worked to change the bank's policies. Before, security guards had the power to ask someone to leave based only on their judgment. There were clear rules. Guards had to ask polite questions first, and if they had any doubt, they had to call a manager before asking a customer to leave. The bank promised that everyone would be treated fairly and given the chance to explain themselves. Michael made it a point to visit the bank often, greeting customers personally and listening to their feedback. He wanted the community to know that the bank was serious about respect and inclusion. Signs were put up in the bank, reminding staff and customers alike that this was a safe space for everyone. The changes did not go unnoticed. Customers began to feel more comfortable visiting the bank. Some told Michael and the staff how happy they were to see the effort being made. The community felt heard and trust started to grow again. Outside the bank, local leaders praised Michael's actions. They invited him to speak at community meetings about the importance of fairness and respect in business. Michael gladly accepted. He shared the story of what happened to Lisa and what the bank was doing to make things better. His message was clear: businesses must be places where everyone is treated equally. Lisa continued to be involved in the bank's work. She helped organize community events to bring people together and build understanding. She spoke at schools and local groups, encouraging people to stand up against unfair treatment. Her experience made her a strong voice for change, though the pain of that day was still with her. Lisa felt proud of how things were turning around. She believed that telling her story and working with her brother was making a difference. It was not just about the bank. It was about the whole community learning to see each other with kindness. Michael and Lisa also took time to talk as family. They shared their hopes and fears and supported each other through the healing process. The incident reminded them how important family is, especially when facing difficult moments. One evening, Michael said to Lisa, "This has been a hard lesson, but I'm glad we are facing it together. We can use this to help others and make our community stronger." Lisa smiled. "Yes, and I hope no one else has to feel what I felt that day. We can change things if we keep working and listening." The story of the bank guard and Lisa became more than just a mistake. It became a story about learning, growth, and hope. It showed how people can come together, admit when they are wrong, and choose to do better. For Michael, Lisa, and everyone at the bank, the incident was a chance to build a better future, one where respect and fairness guide every action. It was a reminder that change is possible when people care enough to make it happen. News about what happened to Lisa spread quickly beyond the bank. People in the neighborhood, friends, and even strangers heard about the moment when a security guard had asked her to leave the bank because he thought she looked suspicious. The fact that Lisa was the branch owner's sister made the story even more surprising, as many people could not believe that such unfair treatment happened. It's inside a place that was supposed to be welcoming. Local news stations picked up the story and wanted to learn more. Reporters came to interview Lisa and Michael. Lisa spoke openly about how she felt hurt and embarrassed by the incident, but also hopeful that sharing her experience could help others. She wanted people to understand how serious racial profiling is and why it must stop. Her words touched many hearts. People began talking about their own experiences with unfair treatment. Some shared stories of being judged because of the color of their skin or how they looked. The story became a way for the community to start a larger conversation about fairness, respect, and equality. Community leaders stepped forward to support Lisa and her family. They praised Michael for taking responsibility and working to fix the problem in his bank. They also used the opportunity to talk about the importance of treating everyone with dignity, no matter their background. Meetings were held where people could discuss their feelings and ideas for change. The incident became a symbol of the challenges many people face every day. It reminded everyone that discrimination is real and still happens, even in places where it should not. But it also showed that change is possible when people speak up and stand together. Lisa became a voice for those who often feel unheard. She spoke at local events, schools, and community centers. Her calm and honest way of sharing her story helped others feel less alone. She encouraged people to be brave and to speak out against unfairness. At the bank, the changes Michael had started continued to grow. Staff members shared stories about how the new training helped them understand different people better. They said they felt more confident in treating customers with kindness. The security team became more careful, learning to check situations fully before making decisions. Customers noticed the difference too. Many said they felt safer and more respected when they visited the bank. Some brought their friends and family, knowing that this was a place where everyone was welcome. The bank's reputation began to improve, showing that it was possible to heal and grow after a difficult time. Michael and Lisa worked hard to keep the momentum going. They organized community events to celebrate diversity and encourage unity. These gatherings brought people together to share food, music, and stories. They created a space where differences were celebrated and understanding grew. The story of Lisa's experience became more than just a personal event. It became a community movement. People talked openly about race, fairness, and respect. They learned that change does not happen overnight. It requires effort and care. Lisa often thought about the day she was asked to leave the bank. Though it was painful, she knew it had led to something important. Her courage to speak out and her brother's commitment to change showed the power of standing up for what is right. The community grew stronger, more connected, and more aware. They knew that challenges like this could happen anywhere, but they also knew they could work together to make things better. For Lisa, Michael, and the people around them, the story was a reminder that fairness and respect are not just ideas, but actions. It was a reminder that everyone deserves to be seen and treated with kindness. The bank became a place of hope, a place where people felt safe and valued. It was a symbol that even after hurtful moments, healing and growth are possible. And it showed that when people come together, they can make a difference. In the weeks after the incident, Michael and Lisa worked hard to make sure the bank became a place where everyone felt welcome and respected. They knew that words alone were not enough. Real change meant new actions and new ways of thinking. So, they continued to build a culture of kindness and fairness inside the bank. Michael met regularly with his staff to hear their thoughts and feelings. He encouraged open conversations where everyone could share their experiences and ideas. He wanted his team to feel supported and motivated to treat every customer with respect. The staff began to understand how important their role was in making the bank a safe place for everyone. Lisa stayed involved too. She helped design programs for the community to educate people about respect, equality, and the harms of bias. She believed that when people understand each other better, they're kinder and more accepting. The bank also began to partner with local organizations that worked for equality and justice. They organized events and workshops together, bringing different groups of people into one space. These gatherings helped build trust and friendship among neighbors who might not have talked before. Inside the bank, changes were visible. New signs reminded everyone that the bank was a place of respect and fairness. Security guards were trained not just in safety, but in empathy. They learned to listen carefully and ask questions before making decisions. Customers noticed the difference, and many said they felt more comfortable and valued. Michael and Lisa also focused on hiring more diverse staff. They believed that when a team reflects the community it serves, it can understand people better and meet their needs more fairly. The new hires brought fresh ideas and energy. It's helping the bank grow stronger. The community began to see the bank not just as a place for money, but as a place that cared deeply about its people. Stories of kindness and fairness spread, and more customers chose to come to this bank. The incident that had once caused pain became a turning point, leading to growth and healing. Lisa and Michael also knew that change was a continuous journey. They promised to keep learning, listening, and improving. They held regular meetings with customers and community members to hear how the bank could do better. This openness built trust and showed that the bank was serious about its commitment. One day, a young mother came into the bank with her child. She smiled at Lisa and said, "Thank you for making this a place where I feel safe. My family and I will keep coming here." Moments like this gave Lisa hope and strength. The story of Lisa being asked to leave the bank because of suspicion became a powerful lesson for many. It showed that even difficult and painful moments could lead to something good if people are willing to face the truth and work for change. Lisa felt proud of the progress, but also aware that the fight for fairness was far from over. She continued to speak at schools, community centers, and events, sharing her story and encouraging others to treat everyone with respect. Michael felt grateful for the support of his family, his staff, and the community. He knew that mistakes happen, but how people respond matters most. His bank had become a symbol of hope, a place where fairness and kindness were more than words. They were actions. Together, Michael and Lisa showed that even when faced with unfairness, people could rise above it. It turned a painful moment into a movement for good. Their story reminded everyone that respect and understanding are the foundation of a strong community. The bank's future looked bright. It was not just a place for business, but a place for people, a place where everyone belonged.